So the ride on the struggle bus this morning is quite real, man. This video, at least what I was going to talk about, I had every intention of doing last night around 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and it just was like it's not going to happen. I was fried, I was shot, I was checked out. So I'm like, you know what? Hopefully the message I kind of wanted to do can still be translated to this one. I mentioned I've got a full-time gig, I've got a part-time gig, and I love both jobs. I really, really do. Full-time is what it is. It's Monday through Friday, and it's allowed me to kind of really learn a lot about the local areas here where I am, and especially the part-time gig. I've been there about 2 years now, and I'm a delivery driver. Do about 3 or 4 nights a week, and that gig was so key in me just learning more about the town I live in. um, Neighborhoods you didn't think existed and where they were, and just learning to meet people. And uh, both, as far as both jobs, I mean, the people I work with are great. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better, to be honest. Which has been odd in the last several years when it comes to work with me in general. Just having that, I don't say comfort, but just knowing that you've got those as team members is really key. So, um, but with the gig I do part time at night, there's usually a lot of time, a lot of driving time, right? About 75% of the time, depending on the night, I'm in the car, which is great. Listen to the radio. I'm alone to my thoughts. It's almost like therapy at times, right? Just enjoying the quiet time, and it allows me to do a lot of thinking in terms of the YouTube aspect of it, right? Just in general, what am I doing? Ideas for videos like this, and then just long term for other stuff. I'm working on a website, so I think about things. I have a notebook in the car with me. I try to write things down. Stuff with the band Neon Flannel. What are we working on? We've got actually rehearsal coming up tonight, I think. And it's like, what else can I be doing to kind of just prep myself for what's next? And you start thinking about the saying, and as a kid or as a young adult, you never really said, "Boy, there's just not enough time in the day." And now you get to this age, in your 50s, and you realize, good Lord, there just really isn't enough time in a day. And it's not, you're not being funny about it, you're not trying to be cute about it, but it's like there is not enough time for me to do what I want to do, which is why, not that I look forward to retirement, but it's certainly something I'm planning for. Retirement's another 7 years plus, probably out for me 7 to 10 years. But I want to build a foundation for retirement in terms. Look, I'll have hopefully some Social Security coming in. I'll have a small pension coming in, and I'm hoping that what I'm doing now could offset that even more, right? With anything I'm doing on YouTube or a social media presence or just side hustles and gigs, right? I've got the band Neon Flannel, as I mentioned. Right now we do 1, 2 gigs a month, which is great. That's fantastic. But when you try to do all the other things that I want to do, I don't know how or when I'm going to do it other than after I'm retired. I mentioned I wrote a book and published my first book a year and a half ago now. I've got an idea for a sequel, right? But I've also started working on other projects, other books. And it's like I had to stop because the one project I was working on almost sounded too much like it was going into the Eddie and the Cruisers domain, which I didn't want to do. I could see how it would be similar, and so I kind of put the brakes on. I haven't done it, haven't touched it in 3 or 4 months. The problem with me is that I have all these ideas firing off in my head, and it's like a cat with a laser pointer. It's one thing, and you're bouncing all over the place. Got to kind of learn how to maybe reel that in a little bit. So, which is why I've really put myself on a schedule. I try to do my videos when I can. I don't try to do them haphazardly. I try to have thoughts in place just to kind of have a conversation, but I want to be able to write. I want to do another book. The first book was supposed to be a bucket list item. It's called Meeting Uncle Jake, and you can find it on Amazon. The link is below if you want to check it out. And that was it. And I really enjoyed it. And I want to do another book, a book. It doesn't have to be the same thing, but just want to do it. But finding the time to sit down and actually crank it out is hard. I've also done 3 ebooks, for guitar tutorials. If you're a guitar player, for triads, major, minor, and I forget what was the other third one, augmented triads. But I published that. It was like, wow, this is actually fun. I'm enjoying it. But to do the stuff I really enjoy, I can't because there just isn't enough time in the day, it seems like. And I don't want to, well, I already have. I mean, I don't want to put too many irons in the fire, but man, I got stuff all over the place. How do I reel it in? How do I do it? And that's kind of, when I do the night gig, I tend to think about these things. I'm thinking about what are my, what song tutorials do I want to do for Six String Fun? What videos do I want to do here for this channel? What video, well, for the other channel I have is just trucks, honestly, 18 wheelers, big rigs. I loved them as a kid, and I love filming them, as far as like the older ones and the ones that, not the newer ones where they all kind of look the same, but I've got that. Um, I've got a travel a channel for travel, but we don't do that much traveling right now, so it's kind of like it's dormant. So you can see there's so much going on, but how do I reel it in? But at the same time, I want to build a foundation. You've got to be consistent, and it just the voices that go on up here sometimes in terms of what to do, what not to do, scary. Um, but there just isn't enough time in the day to do certain things, so I have to really wrap my head around this. And how do I do it? I don't want to get to 60 and be like, oh, I never did any of this stuff. I've got a lot of runway right now, and I need to make the most of it. That's what this this time frame we're in right now, like that 7, 10 years, 5 to 10 years, whatever it is for some of us, is making the most of it. It's building that foundation, because there's too many times I've been reactive and not proactive, and I've got to make sure I am proactive in this situation. Okay, look, and the other thing that I want to do, again, another thing to add to this, is that I want to write music, and actually I do. I write lyrics, I write music, but I want to be able to release a CD, right? Everything is streaming these days. No, but I want a physical CD, something I can hear. Here's a physical copy to put in a CD player. Um, I'm sure it'll be streaming as well, but it's just something about having that physical, CD or a vinyl. Um, but that's what I want to work on as well. I mean, the problem is I can't really sing, so I don't want to hire somebody or have somebody come in and do it, because if it's my stuff, I should be able to sing it and get that message across, right? It's mine. Who knows? There's just so much going on lately, and it's just a matter of trying to get my arms around. Like, I mean, we're already halfway through July almost at this point. I don't know where the time is going, and the seasons just keep coming and going, coming and going. And I've got to kind of put the brakes on this and say, hey, here's what you need to do, and do it. Okay. I've already filmed. I've got about 3 or 4 other videos that I haven't touched yet, even though I've recorded them. They're sitting on the hard drive over here. I have to, get it out there. I've got to edit them and do all this. I've got to edit this video. So typically Sundays and Mondays are my days for recording and editing, and I have to keep it that way. So I don't want to be all over the place, even though I am. It's just I don't know how to get around it sometimes. I think I just have to pump the brakes every once in a while and get that low hang. I have so much low hanging fruit right now. It's like on the floor. It's just that's how. If I could just get to that, I think life would be so much easier. But there's so many things going on. Ideas, do this. You got to move, beep, ba ba boom, and there's just not enough time in the day. I gotta take that scenic route every once in a while. Okay, what do we need to do here? How are we gonna get this done? How do we just get, instead of getting one thing done, can you get 4 or 5 little things done? I need to start concentrating on that stuff, because if I can do that, I'm in much better shape. It just has to happen though, because full-time gig, part-time gig, band, everything else going on around that, just life in general, a little difficult at times. But I think I can get better at it if I can build this foundation over time. Again, YouTube is part of it, but I've got the website I want to do, right, which will house all of my um, everything about me. But I'm building it myself. I'm doing it through Wix. And then all the writing I want to do. Look, I've got a book already, but I'm not doing anything to promote it or publish it other than really what I'm doing right now. Probably the most, as far as, I'm drawing a blank on the word right now. Promotions. It's probably the most promoting I've done on this book ever, talking about it. So I want to be able to push that, but at the same time, maybe I can do some writing once I'm retired. Maybe that can be my gig, is writing. Whether it's ebooks or a combination of ebooks and just I don't have the book with me right here. Where is it? Hold please. Surprise! I do have a copy of it, right? But this is something I'm very proud of. I mean, it was a bucket list item, but it's led to me wanting to do more. Again, Meeting Uncle Jake. You can find it on Amazon. I'm going to plug it. Why not? Uh, so that's kind of where I am, and it just nothing. This video is nothing more than me just kind of rapping a little bit and just kind of talking about where I am, what I want to do, and how to get there. And maybe this will, this could be a little thing I kind of talk about occasionally, like where I am with everything, how I'm getting through it, what I'm doing. Nothing more other than that. So, but I think it's something, if you're around my age, it's good to start thinking about that runway you have for leading up into retirement, because you want to have a plan in place. I was never this prepared for anything else. So I think maybe this is what I need to do and just get myself set up where I've got a foundation and then I can build it from there. And that was the same thing about with YouTube, my Six String Fun channel. I created the channel, I started it, and it took time. It took over 2 years to get to the point where I had 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours to get monetized, and I had to be consistent, and I wasn't at times, which hurt me. So just that consistency and being persistent I think is key to anything that we're doing right now. What I need to do more and more of is just pen to paper notebook. I'm so concerned sometimes about you put it in your phone and your notes and whatever it is you got to do. Man, for me, having a pen and notebook and just write things down as I'm doing, even for work, it's how I function, I think, a little bit better. So that's where I am. Where this goes, we're gonna follow it. We're gonna, I'll do regular updates in terms of what I've done, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it for this particular topic, and we'll see. So again, work today, rehearsal tonight, and then tomorrow. It's honestly it's not a vicious cycle. That's not what it is, but it is a continuation every week of you don't want to wish days away. You don't want to wish for the weekend, and then the week comes and you're wishing for the next weekend. I got to learn to just one thing at a time, one little thing at a time, and you can breathe a little bit better. But also building that foundation to whatever it is that's going to happen in 5, 7, 10 years, 15, hopefully 20, 30 years. I mean, that'd be fantastic. I am hoping, God willing, I can get north of 80 years old. That would be great. Would love more, but another 30 years to get some things done would be ideal. So if you're listening, help me out here. Okay. So that's it. It's enough for now. Like I said, struggle bus was real. I got the coffee behind me. It's just been train wreck city most of the day, but I'm okay. All right. Later, folks.